Hello and welcome to my update video for my Glacial Hammer Berserker. I league started this build in the Pohx League this last Friday, and I haven't had that much time to play, but I am in maps. I'm completing the Atlas, and the build I've gone with is, as mentioned, Glacial Hammer of Shattering with the Berserker. Now over here, I'm using the 1C Mace Frost Breath, then Marilyn's Fallacy, which gives me global critical strike multiplier, and the Beer's Girdle, another unique that gives me 10 maximum rage and some physical damage to attacks. Yeah, that's basically the only uniques I'm using, and then I'm just using some generic good shields, good rare items with some life on them. Over here, I'm investing some into intelligence, and yeah, that's basically it. Nothing too spectacular when it comes to equipment. Then for the passive skill tree, I've gone a bit crazy on this one, so I just winged it. Didn't really research what's the best scenario, but I just started over here with Thunder. Went to all the two-handed notes for the beginning, and I swapped at around level 50 right after my second ascendancy. So as soon for the ascendancy I can show you. First went over here. This was my first ascendancy, which gives you just increased attack speed for every rage you have. So as I'm stacking rage, this gives me a lot of attack speed and also makes me lose rage slower. And then for the second ascendancy, I just got 40 more damage, but I'm also a bit less tanky. For the third ascendancy, I went with 30% of life leech is instant, which just helps me a lot right now in maps or also in general, as I'm leeching with this node over here of attack damage leeches life, and this just lets me get a big life pool basically, or good regeneration in general. Yeah, then over here I have some accuracy, some reduced mana cost, and also increased mana reservation efficiency. Over here, the most important part is Tribal Fury, which gives you melee splash damage. For Glacial Hammer of Shattering, that's pretty mandatory as you don't have that much clear. And over here, I'm getting the non-boss strike skills target 1 addition nearby enemies, which also helps in your clear. Plus, there's also 5 maximum rage. Over here, then some life. Over here, and then I went over here, some life notes, the rage notes over here. I could probably drop these if I'm honest, because I have so much rage generation, I don't need these that much, but over here I'm getting 6 to maximum rage, which is worth it. But over here you only get 2 maximum rage, but the thing you get is 1 increased armor per rage, which just makes you a bit tankier, and I kind of like it to get some additional tankiness in this form per rage. So as I'm stacking rage, it helps a bit. Over here, I'm getting the armor nodes, the life nodes over here, and also the maximum rage nodes. Then for the mace nodes, I went with these. These increase physical damage, which makes your damage bigger because you convert your physical damage to cold. It isn't the best scaling, but the important part here is the increased AoE. So you use it for better clear. As you have Tribal Fury, your skill counts as AoE, so increasing area of effect increases the area of effect. Over here, I'm getting the mace nodes, which give increased critical strike multiplier with maces or scepters. This is kind of important as we crit with every third strike. We want to deal a high amount of crit damage, so we need a lot of crit multiplier. So we get, what is it, 50% over here. And then from Marilyn's fallacy, we get 235%. Then I also use increased critical damage support. Should get some quality for this soon. And then over here, Glacial Hammer of Shattering also has from quality, it gets critical strike multiplier. So overall, as you can see, if I showed right here, the critical strike multiplier is short of 600%. So that's a pretty good multiplier we get on every third hit, basically without any other investment into crit at all. So normal crit chance is way lower for the rest of my attacks. As you can maybe see here, yeah, it's around 6%, so I don't invest anything into crit chance. I even reduce it with this item over here, but every third hit is a crit, so it does a lot of damage. Yeah, that's about right. Then over here, I went into some other mace nodes that give a bit of attack speed, and this is really important. You need attack speed for the build to feel good as you're using the Frost Breath. This attacks really slowly, so if you are searching for this build or trying it out, search for a Frost Breath that has 14 increased attack speed. It really helps out a lot. So is there anything else? Over here I'm going into the increased evasion rating and armor. This mastery gives me immunity to poison because I'm using a helmet that has higher evasion rating. Then with Iron Reflexes, I convert everything into armor, and also I'm using Unwavering Stance, which makes me stun immune. Then over here, I'm going into some cold penetration. I'm waiting to get the full cold mastery, but I haven't have enough points yet. I'm level 87, so I will fix that as I level up. Then over here in the reservation mastery, I'm getting, what is it, like 20% increased reservation efficiency. This is really important because the auras I'm using at the moment are precision. It's really low level, so I should probably level it up as soon as I can. Then Herald of Purity, Herald of Ice, and Purity of Elements. I could probably drop Herald of Purity, but it still gives me some amount of increased damage. Yeah, it's like 10%. So I'm using it. Maybe I will drop it later. And then over here, the Leech Mastery. Over here, some chance to gain endurance charge when you block. Right now I'm at 56% chance to block with a good chance to block a shield that I found. I think I gambled for it, but doesn't really matter. Anyway, so that's just what I got going on in the passive tree. I'm also getting another maximum frenzy charge, which I generate my frenzy charges with Blood Rage. When I use it, I lose my yes, but I have enough recovery so I don't lose life. Yeah, even with the debuff of 4% of your life. So yeah, that's basically what I've been using. Right now there are some upgrades I've thought about, and the first thing I wanted to do is get a physical Karui scepter, which isn't that easy to find as the chance to roll physical mods is really low. So yeah, in the Pohx League there aren't that many players, so there aren't that many items you can choose from. But I found someone that had the highest increased attack speed roll, and I used this. And the plan from here on is to use Trauma instead of Multi-Strike to stack some trauma on this build, which it reduces the damage in. Oh, wait, maybe it increases the damage you get, but you also self damage, which you need to solve, and you attack a bit less quick because you lose the more multiplier from multi-strike for your attack speed. But it honestly feels good, and I'm probably gonna change into a Juggernaut, having my 4th Ascendancy ready to do, but I'm waiting until I am sure I want to go into Juggernaut. And then from there, I will probably start going into some strength stacking. That's also the reason I took all these notes until up here, so the respec will be a bit easier when I go into strength stack eventually. This time, I'm not gonna play the normal Alberon's Warpath strength stack Juggernaut, but I will probably try out Pillar of the Cage God for strength stacking, as it's a staff, so you can use with Glacial Hammer of Shattering. It gets you a lot of physical damage, which you convert 100% into cold damage anyway, so you don't really care. And from there, if you have enough dexterity, you are basically a bit higher when it comes to normal DPS compared to the normal Alberon's Warpath setup. So that's the reason I want to try it out. You can even do both. So you play Pillar of the Cage God and also Alberon's Warpath. Then you get double scaling from strength for physical damage, and also for Replica Alberon's Warpath you get chaos damage. But as soon as you get overwhelming malice on a cluster jewel, you can then convert all your physical damage into chaos damage. So it's all chaos damage again, but the scaling is way higher that way. And Glacial Hammer of Shattering really loves getting a lot of flat damage because it has one of the most insane scalings in the game. It's like it's the highest strike skill with the damage effectiveness, and it doesn't have a downside of reduced attack damage. The downside is you can't use most weapon types, so you only can use maces, scepters, and staffs. So you probably need to invest into some staff nodes. Maybe over here, I need to see when I get to that part where I will get some staff nodes, but I will probably figure something out and yeah, head in that direction as I upgrade my character. Then I will probably drop some points over here, especially the mace nodes, of course. And yeah, I will keep you guys updated, and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.